Hello, welcome, and aloha. So now we will start with the part two of our episode two about Vedic mathematical principles. So in this, we will focus on the practical applications for the modern life for Vedic math. So welcome to the extraordinary journey that bridges 5,000 years of mathematical wisdom with cutting edge modern applications. Today, we'll explore how ancient Vedic mathematical principles um, documented in Sanskrit text millennia before the birth of modern mathematics. They continue to revolutionize different areas like education, technology, business, personal development in our this digital age. So this presentation before you represents this remarkable bridge between ancient and modern, right? So if you look on the left side, I mean, you've seen this picture many times. So on the left side, you see, the warm, golden imagery representing ancient Sanskrit manuscript, right, with traditional math symbols and geometrical, patterns, which you see on the right side, right? So on the right, you have the cool blue tone, which represents a modern technological world with digital interface, right? Algorithms, you can see the algorithmic symbols there, and contemporary mathematical notations. And right in the center, you see the bridge, right, where you see timeless wisdom for modern times. So the bridge is connecting them. That symbolizes the timeless relevance of these principles, showing that mathematical truth transcends time. So, what makes this particularly fascinating is that we are not talking about primitive mathematical concepts that have been superseded. Instead, we are examining sophisticated mathematical frameworks that modern science is only now beginning to fully appreciate and validate. Um, so, the left side we talked about, so the Om, which symbolizes the ancient scripture, and on the right side you see the chip, which is the fundamental base for computers in the digital age. Um, so, rightfully on the bottom, you see ancient wisdom, modern applications, and the timeless relevance, right? So this just isn't just a slogan; it's the foundation of everything we will explore. Okay, these ancient principles offer practical solutions to contemporary challenges across multiple domains. Right. Um, so rapid mental calculation techniques we talked about, and we will talk more, that outperform calculators. Organizational strategies used by Fortune 500 companies, quantum computing algorithms inspired by 5,000 years old texts, educational methods that transform how students learn mathematics by doing a lot of mathematical calculations in their mind. So let's begin our exploration with the foundational area where these principles have shown the most dramatic impact. Uh, and then is first one is the education, right? So we just talked about that, right? Rapid mental calculation techniques. So Vedic sutras for using the Vedic sutras, and there are talked in the past, there are 14 sutras for lightning fast mathematical computations, right? So the foundation of Vedic mathematical education, rests on the sutras, right? Which are, you can also call the sutras as mathematical principles that enable lightning, fast computations. So let's look at this Bhagavatam quote from Canto 3, Chapter 12, verse 37. Right? The foundation of so as it states, the four Vedas, the six supplements, the 64 arts, and the 4,000 branches of knowledge were all manifested from the breathing of Brahma. So this reveals that mathematical knowledge were all manifested, was all understood as part of a complete system of universal wisdom, not isolated calculation tricks. Let's look at, I think we briefly talked about earlier too, Ekadina Purvena, which basically from Sanskrit to English means by one more than the previous, right? So let's kind of demonstrate the power of this, one of the sutras. So we'll look at an example of 97 times 93, right? And as you can see here, the traditional method would require, multiply multiple steps, right, with significant mental efforts. But using the Vedic, sutra, and you can see how simple it is, right? So you basically, in step one, you know it's close to 100, so subtract by 100. So the first 97 is 100 minus 3. The second 93 is 100 minus 7, right? So basically, think of it as we're working with a base of 100. So in step two, we will basically, simple mental arithmetic is you show a base of 100, so that's 1,000 minus 700, minus 300, so base 10, so 7 times 100 and 3 times 100, and then you multiply 7 times 3 and you add 21. So if you take that, so you will see that first one is 10,000, right? And then 700 and 300 minus, so that's 1,000, so that's 9,000. And then you add 21. So the answer is 9,021. So take a second to think how you did, right? So you base 100, so you subtract by 100, 97, 93. So one gets you 3, other gets you 7. Right, and that's base 100. So you take 100 times 100 is 10,000, and then you have 7 with 100, 700, and 3 with 100, 300. So you subtract those two, and then 7 times 3 you add that, right? So the more you practice, you will see how easy this becomes. And then let's look at the other one, right? Urdhav Trayabhagyam, which is basically vertically and crosswise. So here we'll take an example of 23 times 47. So in step one, you multiply the first digits, right? So 2 times 4 is 8, and then across, right, crosswise. So that's 2 times 7, right? And then when you do the crosswise, you do both the crosses. So 2 times 7 and 3, 3 times 4. So you can see how you're adding those two, right? 2 times 7 and 3 times 4. So cross. So you add those. So that gives you 26. And then again, you multiply the right side numbers, which is 3 and 7, right? So that's 21, right? So now you can see how easy it is that the total is 1081. Okay, so again, mentally, it shows you how you can quickly do that, right? So this kind of where the power of the vertically and crosswise lies. Okay, again, practice this, and then you will see, and then we will do more of this later, right? So the beauty is all in the pattern. So once you see it, complex multiplications become as simple as basic math. Um, Again, don't worry about it. We're gonna the next part of this episode two. We're gonna go in depth into each of the 14 sutras, and here I just showed you, two of the sutras examples. First one was by one more than the previous. Second one was vertically and crosswise. So this is not just something which has been written in ancient scripts and has been validated time and again in modern, math. So if you look at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, they conducted a very comprehensive studies comparing, as you can see in the chart, the traditional method of modern math, and the Vedic sutra techniques, right? And the results are remarkable. So as you can see from a faster speed perspective, there's a 40% increase. This is what the MIT study did. It's another study purely based on competitive exams, like how people perform. So there is a study which shows there's 25% improve in higher scores by using Vedic sutras in math by students. And then we also, study shows that 16% improvement in mathematical confidence, reduced anxiety, and increased engagement. So this is the power of our human brain, right? The more you use the brain, right? So the less it will also it builds the confidence, and less stress it gives you. So let's also look at there aren't just these are not just laboratory results, right? Global implementations, like it's been implemented globally. The Singapore education system has integrated Vedic math into their curriculum. MIT, research continues to validate these approaches. Competitive, exam success rates have improved dramatically where these methods are taught. Um, so the key insight is that uh, the Vedic methods work with natural, brain patterns rather than against them. So kind of how our brain is structured, right? So the Vedic sutras are designed to work with our brain patterns and not against them. That's why I made the comment of less stress to our brain. That explains why the students not only calculate faster but feel more confident about mathematics.